महाभूतानि अहंकार बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इंद्रियाणि दशैकञ्च पंच इंद्रिय गोचरः इच्छा देश सुखं दुःखं संघात चेतनाकृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासीन सविकारं उदाहृतम्. This is more or less some philosophy analysis of material elements. We are embodied in material elements. Krishna is questioned by Arjuna, what is this body and who is the owner of this body and what is knowledge? Krishna has answered that the soul is the owner of this body and I am also the owner of this body. This owner of this body, one individual soul and the super soul. Just like owner of the storefront, the tenant is in one sense owner, at the same time the landlord is also owner. These points we have discussed. Now, Krishna has also discussed that the knowledge by which we can understand the soul, the super soul and the material embodiment, that is real knowledge. People are after knowledge, so many, there are departmental knowledges, but according to Bhagavad Gita, real knowledge is to understand the soul, the super soul and the material world. So, he is analyzing this material element, Mahabhutani, Ahankara, Mahabhutani. There are 5 gross elements which are called Mahabhutani, great material elements. And what are those? Hadi na ahankara sadhetu stavasa bhudadi sanga buddhi sadhetu pradhana mahan bhaktam sadhetu trigunavastam pradhanam indrayani sotridana. One after another. This sky and false ego is due to the intelligence. Everything begins from the subtle. The most subtle element is the spirit soul. And little grosser than the spirit soul is the intelligence. And little grosser than the intelligence is the false ego, identification. And little grosser than the false intelligence is the mind. And from mind, then the senses, and the senses next the grosser element is the body. So we have to analyze according to the Shastra, because it is not possible. Suppose the modern scientist is given to find out where is the soul in this body. It is not possible. So of the presence of the soul, we have got so much intelligence, we have got so much thoughtful, psychological effects, so many things wonderful they are. But as soon as the soul is not there, everything collapses. So, the Buddhist theory that this intelligence and consciousness take place at a certain point of material mixture. But that may be an argument, but actually it is not a fact. Any amount of material mixture, you cannot produce so. They have produced so many things by material mixture, but nobody has produced. In India, of course, we heard so many news that in America they have produced life in chemical laboratory. And sometimes they say in Russia they have tried. But it is not possible. Nobody has found. And greatest scientists they have admitted that the problem of life is beyond the scope of material science. So we have to take it from authoritative scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Vedic literature, that soul is different from this body, and according to the mentality of the soul, we develop different kinds of body, and that is being described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Pradhanamindiyani sutradini pancho bhagadini cha panchiti dato panchani rajasa ahankaram tarja. Now we have got 10 different kinds of senses. 5 senses, working senses, and 5 senses acquiring knowledge. These senses are also products of the ahankar, false ego. Sukha sabdatam matra adi vishesha gunataya bhaktya santa sura sutradi pancha bhaktendriya vishaya. So, from the 5 senses which are acquiring knowledge, the sense organs acting, they are produced. In this way, this body is composition of 24 elements. That is the analytical study of Bhagavad Gita. And the Sankhya philosophy, Kapil's Sankhya philosophy, they are analytical, the same thing, revealed scriptures is the same thing, there is no difference. But among these 24 elements, there is time, kala, time element. That is also representation of the Supreme Law. And above this time, there is God. So, actually, there are 26 different elements which is conducting this material world. Etam chetam samasena savikaram udahitam. Chetam means this body. Either you take this body or this material world, they are interaction of these 24 elements. Either you take the gigantic body of this universe how you take the body of this planet, how you take these, your body, my body, or a cat's body, dog's body, all these bodies, they are formed of these 24 elements, sabikam, by action and reaction. Just like chemically, if you mix one chemical with another chemical, a third element is produced. Similarly, originally, the reservation of all these elements is called mahottam. It is called pradhan, upada. So, gradually, they manifest, they divide by three gunas. Three gunas means in the Mahatattva, in the total material reservoir, three gunas, three modes of nature, first of all appear and they act with one another, and then gradually one after another the 24 elements become manifest. Etat chitam samasena sabikeram udaharitam. Now, of course, we can theoretically accept that this is the position, but actually to understand this position, to acquire the requisite knowledge, that requires many stages of development. And how that knowledge is developed, that is also described in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna. What is that? The first principle of acquiring knowledge is described here, amanittam. Amanittam. Amanittam means that we are very much proud of our material existence. That pride must be given up. That is the first principle of knowledge. यथोक्तम क्षेत्र क्षेत्रात् भिन्नत्वेन ज्ञान क्षेत्रज्ञद्वयं विस्तारेण निरूपयिष्यन् तद् ज्ञान साधनानि अमृतानि विंशति प्रकार पंचभिः. Now, the body and the soul. Now the body is analyzed. It is composition of 24 elements. Now, how to understand the soul as is? But we are now in the position of material consciousness, and we have to develop into spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness. What are the stages that is being described? That means this is the general way of acquiring real knowledge of the soul and the body. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us a special gift, but that in spite of our not understanding everything very analytically as they are described in the Vedic scriptures, one can understand himself by the simple process by chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is special gift of Lord Chaitanya. He said that if you chant this Hare Krishna mantra, then automatically everything will be revealed unto you. Because in this age it is very difficult to follow the process of knowledge, just like Amanitva, to give up the pride of one's existence or a material existence or a condition. Amanitva. Amanitva means, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sasat Karana Abhikhatyam, Sasat Karana Abhikhatyam Adamitam Dharmikattam. First thing that to deny the material existence, that I am not this matter, that this is not ordinary thing, that I am not matter. But Lord Chaitanya says that this realization that I am not matter will be very easily realized if you chant Hare Krishna sincerely. He said the Chetadappana Marga, if we chant Hare Krishna, the immediate first installment of profit will be the understanding that Chetadappana Marga, I am identifying myself as belonging to this material world. This is misunderstanding. Actually, I don't belong to this material world. The whole concept of my material life is based on this misunderstanding that I am matter. I am this body. So Lord Chaitanya says that even if you do not follow the regulation of acquiring this knowledge, simply if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then your first installment of profit will be vanishing. This misunderstanding, that's why this one. Chetadappana Margana. Clearing the dust on the mirror of the mind. Darpana means mirror. Just like on the mirror, if there is dust, you cannot see your face very nicely. If you wipe the mirror very nicely, this Hare Krishna chanting is the process of wiping out the dust accumulated on the mirror of my mind. Mind Cheta is consciousness. Mind is not exactly Cheta, consciousness. So our movement for Krishna consciousness is the process of clearing the consciousness. Originally, we are all Krishna conscious. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says in the 15th chapter, Mami Vamsa Jiva Bhuta, Jiva Loka Sanatana. These jivas, these living entities, they are mine, part and parcel. Sanatana, but they are not whole. The Mayavadi philosophers, they claim to be the whole. But Vaishnava philosophy, we do not claim that we are the whole. The Mayavadi philosophers, they claim that I am God. But we do not claim. We claim that we are part and parcel of God. As part and parcel of God, we have got the same quality. Just like minute particle of gold is also gold. But that part gold and the whole gold, they are never equal. all the qualities qualitatively and one, but quantitatively and different. That is the version of Bhagavad Gita. And actually, if we falsely claim that I am God, then we have to show godly power. Unless we show godly power simply claiming that I am God, that is dhamma. That is false pride. Therefore, the first condition of acquired knowledge is adambittam, amanittam, adambittam. First of all, to deny that I am not matter, and then if I am not matter, then I am God. Then Krishna says, no, that is your false pride. You are not God. Adambittam. Amanittam, adambittam, ahimsa. Then non-violence. As soon as one is realized so, he will be non-violent. These are the different stages of acquiring knowledge. And when one is in full knowledge of Krishna consciousness, he becomes qualified with all the good qualities, all the good godly qualities. The Bhagavad says, Jasyasti bhakti bhagavata pinchana sarvai gunai tatra samasati sudha. If one is actually in Krishna consciousness, then all godly good qualities will develop. Because we are part and parcel of God. The godly qualities are there. It is simply covered. Just like the fire is covered by ashes. If you fan out the ashes, then the fire comes out. Similarly, spirit soul is pure. So when he comes to Krishna consciousness, then he becomes pure soul. So amanittam adambittam. Amanittam satsya karana apikhattam adambittam dharmikattam khyati phala dharma karana viraha. The adambittam means one should not think, suppose I am very much advanced in spiritual knowledge, but I should not be very much proud of it. Generally in this age, people want false, I mean to say, designation. They are very religious. I know everything. I am God. So many things. These are false pride. So actual knowledge is that I am smaller than the straw in the street. That is the destruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Tinavapi Sahisnula. One should be tolerant, one should be humbler than the straw in the street. Sunichena, one should think himself as smaller than the grass on the street. And Tinadapi Sunichena, Tarodapi Sahisnana. And one should be tolerant like the tree. Amanina, without claiming any respect from others. Amanina, Maladina, but one should give all respect to others. Maladina, Kirtaniya Sadhana. In that state, one can chant Hare Krishna very nice. Of course, it is very difficult, but Krishna will help us. Now, this Tinadapi Sunichena, one may think that it is artificial to think that I am smaller than the grass in this tree. But actually, it is not artificial. It is actually the fact. Why? That from the Padma Purana, Vedic literature, we understand that the form of the soul is 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair. Now, how much small we are, just we can imagine only. There is no instrument to divide the upper portion of the hair into 10,000 parts. And just to take one part as the magnitude of the soul, that is not. Actually, we are very small. That small particle of the soul is within the ant and is within the elephant. It is a bodily expansion only that we appear as the elephant appears to be the biggest animal, and the ant or the germ appears to be the smallest. But actually, these are bodily expansion. The soul as it is really smaller than the grass or straw on the street. The Vedic aphorism says that aham brahmasmi. Aham brahmasmi. So aham brahmasmi sometimes mistakenly is understood that I am the Supreme God. Aham brahmasmi means I am Brahma, and Brahma means spirit. I am spirit soul. This conception, this identification is right. This is right identification. As soon as I think that I am elephant or I am ant, that is not my identification. That is my misidentification. My real identification is that I am neither ant nor elephant, but I am spirit soul. But sometimes by identifying myself with the spirit soul, sometimes I falsely claim that I am the supreme soul. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Tinarupi Sunichena. You are soul, you are spirit soul, but you are smaller than the smallest straw in the street. So actually there is no miscalculation. The calculation is there. So adambitam, dharmikatam, khyati, follow dharmachara. Khyati. We should not be very much anxious about being famous. Not, there is a great man who knows everything about spirit and who is perfect. No, we should be very sincere to understand things as they are. We should not falsely claim which I am not. The most, the prideful claim is that I am God. This is strictly forbidden by our sampradaya. That don't claim. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially when he was talking with one of his devotees, Ramananda Rai, the subject matter was how to get perfection. Ramananda Rai was suggesting, of course, from Vedic literature, that perfection, the path of perfection is to follow the institution of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. That is a fact. 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. What is these 4 varnas and 4 ashramas? There are 4 division of social life and 4 division of spiritual life. The 4 division of social life is the intelligent class of men, the martial class of men, and the mercantile class of men, and the laborer class. You can divide any social system in any country, in any place. There are these four classes of men. One class of men, they are very intelligent. They are scientists, they are philosophers, they are writers, poets, thinkers, nature by nature. They are inclined to these kinds of work. They are called intelligent class. Similarly, there is a class of men who are interested to take part in politics, in diplomacy, or to stand for election as president or as governor in every country, in every place. They are called administrative class or martial spirit. They are prepared to fight also. So there is a class. And the third class is the mercantile class. They want to do some business, trade, industry and make some profit. And the liberal class, they are neither intelligent nor they want to take part in politics, nor they are able to do independent business. Under the circumstances, they have to give their labor and work under somebody and get some remuneration. So these classes are in every country. You call it by different names. In India, of course, these classes are named as the Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and the Shudras. But in many places I was in India, there is caste system. So this caste system is not only in India, in everywhere the caste system is there. And enviousness between one community to another, that also existing everywhere. This is human nature. So this is the classification of the society, and there is another classification which is called spiritual developmental classification. The brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyas. Brahmachari means student life. Student life to acquire knowledge. And grihastha life in the household. After acquiring knowledge, one may get himself married with a suitable girl and live peacefully in the society for spiritual cultivation. Everything for spiritual cultivation. And then Bhana for spiritual life, then sannyas renounce that. So Ramananda Rai explained these four principles, four divisions of social order and spiritual development. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, oh, this is not possible. Yovajyavika, this is external. If you know something better than this, then you explain. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu denied this social order? Because he was to give immediately benefit to the fallen souls of this age. So he denied the system, not that he decried the system, but he knew that this system cannot be introduced strictly at the present moment, in this age. So in this way, gradually he presented Jnana-Mishra Bhakti, devotional service with knowledge, renouncement of this material connection. In every state, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, this is not suitable, this is not suitable. Then at last, not at last, at the middle, Ramananda Rai suggested that Jnana Prayasam Mudapasana Mantri, the have the false knowledge, that I am God. I am God. This is false knowledge. So, when this was recommended by Ramananda Rai to Chaitanya, that one should give up this false knowledge. Gyanim Pyasam Udupas Navantari. One should be very meek and humble. Navantari, Jivanti, and in that way, if he leaves Samgurtana Bhavadiyo Bhaktam and tries to receive knowledge from really self-realized person, the motto of life. He is prescribing the motto of life that one should not be falsely proud, one should be very much meek and humble and try to receive knowledge from self-realized person. If one continues, follows these principles, then one day he will find that God, who is Ajita, who cannot be conquered by anyone, who cannot be known by anyone, God realization. Because God realization is not an ordinary joke. It is very difficult. Manusyanam Sahasreshtu, the Bhagavad Gita, you find that out of many thousands of men, one may be interested how to make perfect this human form of life. And out of many thousands of perfect persons, one may know actually what is God, what is Krishna. So, God is incomparable, cannot be conquered, he cannot be understood by our puffed-up mentality that I can know him. No. God can be known by the meek and humble, who is submissive and who takes the shelter of a God-realized person and tries to hear from him. Then Ramananda Rai, not Ramananda Rai, it is a quotation from Bhagavata, then the result is, although God is unapproachable by our limited knowledge, he becomes Jita. Jita means he becomes conquered, simply by this position. So we are following that system. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved this system, that one may remain in his position, never mind what he is. It doesn't matter. Either he is Indian or American or a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a white or black, but a human being with common understanding. If he simply gives us a false first knowledge that I am God and becomes humble and meek and tries to understand the science of God from a realized soul, then one day it will so happen that God has become within his hand. Prayasa jitopi, God cannot be conquered, God cannot be understood. But jitopasi, by following this process, God becomes conquered, or one can understand actually the nature of God by this process. So, our propagation for opening different centers is for this purpose, that we give chance. This is our duty. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna also recommended this process, that you should give chance to the people to understand the real knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. Now it remains to the people to accept it or not accept it. That is his choice. But our duty is, just like a representative of a business firm, he goes from door to door, from shop to shop, that here is a thing we are selling, and this is such and such. Now it does not mean that wherever the representative will go, the things will be sold. No, that is not expected. But maybe somebody may come and take to such transaction very seriously. But we cannot expect that everyone will understand the science of Krishna consciousness. It is not for ordinary man, not for the proud man especially, who is thinking that I am God. It is for the humble and me who can actually submit to a God-realized person and receive knowledge from him. But he has the liberty to inquire from him. One should not blindly accept the thesis or the theory which is put forward from Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena srivaya. One should be asking questions by two principles. You should ask questions from a person whom he believes to be a man of knowledge. Otherwise, it is simply waste of time. And at the same time, Shiva, by service, then a question is allowed. Otherwise, a blind acceptance is no acceptance. One should understand. But we serve him and surrender. These are the processes, and we are trying to administer this Krishna consciousness under the principle of Bhagavad Gita and Lord Chaitanya. You are all welcome. And put us questions to understand. We shall be very glad to serve you. Any questions?